Hello?
There are seven keys to the great gate, being eight and one eight first. Let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abort the fidget restrain the expression, shoot thy glance to rapture's darkling root, discounting name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Here's to the heart I leave thee here, thou art the master I revere, thy radiance that rolls afar, O brother of the silver star. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in one and 1 in 8. First let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abort the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, swayed softly as a well to live be bound. To the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs enhance, hour after hour thy vigilance, intense and keen, turn inwardness, no atom of analysis. 6, on one thought securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Hence still that ecstasy prolong, thy meditations deep and strong, slaying even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last all these things in one o'erpower, time let the midnight blossom flower. The oneness is yet even in this, my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression, shoot thy glance to rapture's darkling root, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Here's to the heart I leave thee here, thou art the master I revere, thy radiance that rolls afar, O brother of the silver star. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in one and 1 in 8. First let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abort the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next the breath rhythm below, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, swayed softly as a well glance to rapture's darkling root. Discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master I revere. Thy radiance that rolls afar, O brother of the silver star. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in one and 1 in 8. First let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou makes the board, the fidget makes that tease the thought. Next let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, swayed softly as a will to live be bound to the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs in hands, hour after hour thy vigilance. Intense and keen turned inward miss, no atom of analysis. Sixth, on one thought securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next, till that ecstasy prolong thy meditations deep and strong. Slaying even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last, all these things in one o'erpowered, time that the midnight blossom flowered. The oneness is his, even in this, my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression, show thy glance to rapture's darkling root, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master I revere. Thy radiance that rolls afar, O brother of the silver star. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in 1 and 1 in 8. First, let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abort the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next, let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, swayed softly as a well of live be bound to the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs in hands, hour after hour thy vigilance. Intense and keen, turned inward with no atom of analysis. Someone thought securely pinned, still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and unstirred, burn up the being in one word. blossom flower, the one that says yet, even in this my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression, thy glance to rapture's dark. I don't even want to lay down. I gotta name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Seven keys to the great gate, being eight and one in eight. First, let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abhor the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next, let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. Then let the light be pure and calm, sway softly as a well-lit be bound to the one love of the profound. Let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs enhance, hour after hour by vigilance. Intense and keen, turned inward, miss no atom of analysis. Sits on one thought, securely bent. Still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame straight and stirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next, till that ecstasy, prolong thy meditation steep and strong, slaying even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen man. Blast all these things in one empowered time. Let the midnight blossom flower, the one is as yet, even in this my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression, shoot thy glance to rapture's dark gleam, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. There are seven keys to the great gate, being eight in one and one in eight. First, let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid, thus thou mayst abort the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next, let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea's Pacific swoon. entity. Watch every thought that springs enhance. Hour after hour, thy vigilance intense and keen turned inwardness. No analysis, fixed on my thoughts securely pinned. Still every whisper of the wind. So like the flame, straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next, still that ecstasy from thy meditation steep and strong, slaying even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last all these things in one or power, time that the midnight blossom flower, the oneness is yet, even in this my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression, shoot thy glance to rapture's darkling root, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master, I revere thy radiance that rolls afar, O brother of the silver sky. There are 7 keys to the great gate, being 8 in 1 and 1 in 8. First let the body of thee be still, bound by the cerements of will. Corpse rigid thus thou mayst abort the fidget babes that tease the thought. Next let the breath rhythm be low, easy, regular, and slow, so that thy being be in tune with the great sea specific sound. Third, let thy life be pure and calm, sway softly as a well to live be bound to the one love of the profound. Fifth, let the thought divinely free from sense observe its entity. Watch every thought that springs enhance. Hour after hour, thy vigilance intense and keen turned inwardness. Of analysis, fixed on one thought securely pinned. Still every whisper of the wind. So like a flame, straight and unstirred, burn up thy being in one word. Next, still that ecstasy prolong thy meditation steep and strong, slaying even God should he distract thy attention from the chosen act. Last all these things in one or power, time at the midnight blossom flower, the oneness is yet, even in this my son, thou shalt not do amiss. If thou restrain the expression, shoot thy glance to rapture's darkling root, discarding name, form, sight, and stress, even of this high consciousness. Pierce to the heart, I leave thee here. Thou art the master, I revere thy radiance that rolls afar. O brother of the silver The way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. This is the holy hexagram. Plunge from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, O man, and interlock with beast. triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange with the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, is the sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence, and behold, is not that word equal to jet that is cancer, whose sigil is up, this work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own and nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfected itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. This is the holy hexagram. Punch from the heights, oh God, and interlock with man. Punch from the heights, oh man, and interlock with peace. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. It's interchange the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, is the sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence, and behold, is not that word equal to chaff that is cancer, whose sigil is death. This work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own and nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfected itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. This is the holy hexagram. Plunge from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, O man, and interlock with peace. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange with the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, is the sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence, and behold, is not that word equal to jet that is cancer, whose sigil is death. This work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own and nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfected itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. This is the holy hexagram. Plunge from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, O man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, is the sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence, and behold, is not that word equal to check that is cancer, whose sigil is cats. This work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own end, nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfect in itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. This is the holy hexagram. Plunge from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, O man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, is the sign of the tongue of grace, the blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power. Abrahadabra is the sign of the great work, for the great work is accomplished in silence. And behold, is not that word equal to death that is cancer? Whose sigil is cancer, this work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own end, nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfect in itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed and the way to suck. This is the holy hexagram, plunged from the height, oh God, and interlock with man. Plunged from the height, oh man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the sending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the sending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, is the sign of the great work, for the great work is accomplished in silence. And behold, is not that word equal to death that's cancer? Sigil is your gem, this work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own end, nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfect in itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed and the way to suck. The way to succeed and the way to suck. This is the holy hexagram, plunged from the height, oh God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, oh man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the sending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the sending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, is the sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence. And behold, is not that word equal to death that's cancer? The sigil is rich, and this work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own end, nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfect in itself. Little children, love one another. The way to succeed and the way to suck. The way to succeed and the way to suck. The way to succeed and the way to suck. The way to succeed. This is the holy hexagram, plunged from the height, oh God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, oh man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, is the sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence. The way to succeed and the way to success. This is the holy hexagram, plunge from the height, oh God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, oh man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, is the sign of their great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence, and behold, is that the word equal to death that is cancer? phoenix of the lower life to be the higher life. He then takes all and becomes free, unconditioned, the absolute, burning up the flame of his prayer and born again, the phoenix. The phoenix had the bell for sound, fire for sight, a knife for touch, two cakes, one for taste, the other for smell. He standeth before the altar of the universe at sunset when earth light fades. He summons the universe and crowns it with natural light. Keep praise unto and give homage to Rahaku. To him he then sacrifices the first cake burnt, illustrates the prophet drawn from the scheme of incarnation. The second mixed with his life's blood and eaten, illustrates the use of the lower life to be the higher life. He then takes the oath and becomes free, unconditioned, the absolute, So we know that it's bullshit. The problem is that we don't have a media that's willing to call them out on it, right? That's the problem, right? Like I don't want to debate Venezuela. That's not what we're here to do. But it's highlighting the issue, which is the new media is not calling out the president or the administration for their lie that it is narco-terrorism that we are going after in Venezuela, right? Pretty much anybody who's being honest that I've heard is willing to admit that's the case, including you and some of the other people up here, right? I actually, you know what I mean? Like it's the disingenuous people who come up here and try to sell us the bullshit. And we need a media, right? A loud media that is willing to say that. Okay? It's like we don't have that. Standing before the altar of the universe at sunset when earth life fades. He summons the universe and crowns it with magic coming to replace the sun of natural light. He prays until give homage to rival courage. To him he then sacrifices. The first cake burned illustrates the prophet drawn from the scheme of incarnation. The second mixed with his lifeblood Eden illustrates the use of the lower life to feed the higher life. He then takes the oath and becomes free. Unconditioned, the absolute, burning up the flame of his prayer and born again. The Phoenix. Which is a declaration of war for anybody who studies geopolitics. What I was trying to tell you now is that Venezuela decided to take 85% of their oil to China, and they started using the yuan currency as opposed to the dollar. That is the declaration of war. And it's just the reality of how the world works. Like, oh, I don't know, you may not like it, that's just the reality. Yeah, I'd like to disagree with what you're saying about what they're doing with strengthening oil for Chinese for transparency. But I don't consider that a declaration of war. I consider that trade. Now, I also had what you're saying that that's the result. It's the equivalent of declaring war because that's what the U.S. wants to do us like is an act of war, whether overtly or subtly. That's what we're going to check.
What would happen if, for example, Canada, which has the world's second or third largest oil supplies, when you combine oil sands and when you look at Canadian
So again, it's interesting. It's derailing. I'm sorry.
We're going to do our own thing.
This is derailing from the topic, and I want to bring it back into the media crash out. So again, we can have this discussion another day. Much appreciated. Let's go to Joey. Did you have something about the media?
About the oil.
Okay, I don't want to continue. I don't want to. Okay, that's not what we're talking about tonight. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Colonel.
Yeah, Billy, sorry for the delay there. Hey, it kind of came to me because I think you just said that Elon just reposted that Nick is a Fed. Like, was that a repost? Did that just happen?
He commented a couple hours ago.
There you go. Okay, so now what we're seeing, I think, is starting to make sense, right? I have listened to Nick, not like I don't watch his podcast or anything, but you can't miss him because I watch a lot of stuff, right? So I come across his stuff all the time, and he is very open to the idea of J.D. Vance, and J.D. Vance's big sponsor is who? We talked about this. His name is Peter what? Thiel, right? So I think what we're actually looking at here is a war between Peter Thiel and Elon Musk. And so if you look at it and you kind of step back and you go, why the hell is Nick acting the way that he is? Because J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel, and I like J.D. and Peter Thiel is creepy, like he's trying to bring in the satanic AI, kind of thing. But
sense because Elon can't be president.
No. I'm saying Trump is like both Elon. I mean, Elon went in, and you certainly aren't telling me that Elon.
Okay, no, that's right. I get what you're saying. Nick's selling out to the establishment because he's hedging his bet for the future.
And he's doing it for. And there's factions here, right? So you have Elon's faction, which is like that's the one I've kind of bought into, and it's ridiculous to us this narrative. And we're looking at the Thiel JD Vance thing that's happening, which seems unnatural now and creepy. So anyway,
And kind of gay.
yeah, well, and it kind of came together. So anyway, that's what I want to say. Thanks for letting me up. See you.
Yeah, thank you, Colonel. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Elon's tweet about he's a Fed. Then there's a post by Santron that says that Nick Fuentes knew Ali Alexander was grooming young boys well before victims went public. And so I've been using social audio chat apps for years. I've been using Clown House, Clubhouse, and Ali Alexander used to hold open court there with Andrew Meyer and other individuals. I don't know about the Peter Thiel feud between him and Elon. I'm not a Peter Thiel fan. I'm a former IRS employee at the Treasury Department, and I used to walk around and tour buildings with the commissioner of the IRS, and he's a former tax attorney, and he was pushing Palantir on all the attorneys at the IRS, as well as saying that he wants to see mom and pops be destroyed in courts. I'm not a whistleblower. I'm just telling you that people's psychology sucks. But also this daily feud between Candace and Nick and Milo and all these talking head puppets who to me sound like they're hyperverbal, compulsive thinkers and speakers and delusional and just creating clickbait nonstop. And then Tim Pool says his show, he's pulling every day in every way. These social media influencers are doing the same clickbait news cycle bullshit on us, and they're part of the schmuck psyop. These stupid politicians are more worried about tariffs than our property taxes, income taxes. So I'm very upset that we live in clown world. And when I think about all the problems internationally, but then I think about the people that we live with here in America and just how brainwashed they are and how weak and pathetic and clownish and stupid and how they live in la la land, delusional land. We're 39 trillion in debt, 100 trillion in unfunded debt. So we have major financial problems, and the fact that the State Department every month is sending $7 billion overseas to the King of Jordan, to the President of Egypt. It's not just our citizens, it's the fucking government still. You know, this is why we voted Trump, to hopefully have change. And every president keeps pulling the fucking rug on us. And so it's just very upsetting to see that we can't have fiscal conservatism or a balanced budget or a reduction in spending, paying down the debt, or have some type of change to this skim operation. It's resembling very much like a mafia operation, and maybe that's what governments are, and maybe that's what we are, but it's just upsetting to recognize it and realize that if we invade Venezuela and spend hundreds of billions of dollars in some kind of new regime change operation, I don't know. I mean, is this just a mafia-run organ? Is it the federal mafia? Because that's what Peter Schiff and Erwin Schiff, his father, put out, the Federal Mafia book. I'm just saying, I'm trying to run for Congress, and I'm running against the AIPAC candidate that has $10 million in the bank, and he's pushing FIFA on his constituents. His constituents don't give a fuck about soccer. His constituents care about property taxes, income taxes, and Pritzker here in Illinois, and abortions and transgender reassignment surgery. So I don't know what our leaders are leading, and they're not really educating us or leading us in any type of patriotic, nationalistic, intelligent way. We are the ultimate suckers, it appears. Thank you for letting me rant. I am complete.
All right. Thank you for that. Good rant. Good luck with your candidacy over there in Illinois. Sounds like you're pretty based. I don't know what your policy. I mean, I can get an idea of what your policy positions are, but yeah. Good luck. And
I would guess he likes large Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah,
I liked her resignation letter, and I don't know if anybody read it, but I read it. It's excellent, and everybody should read her resignation letter. And
I read it. It's based as fuck.
yeah, it was extremely based, and it's very patriotic and American.
She took power, and it's so hard to get it, and then she quit. That's the problem.
I mean, you know, well, when it's threatening your kids,
Well,
and the president is,
we're not
gonna have that debate in here either.
No, not that debate. It's
I'm not gonna have this debate in here either.
No, there's no debate. The guy that just spoke, I wanted to help him out with one thing. They said that.
You're addressing what he said?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
We're supposed to be talking about the media, right? You guys keep wanting to like.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that. I'm talking about that. So the thing about the soccer is weird, bro, and I know what you're talking about. But Trump, he has all the fucking trophies. It's in his Oval Office and stuff. But it leads into the drones. Here, I'll send you something on that. And they have also that what is it called? That is David still in here? The ASAC or whatever pack. They have a different pack that's not that kind of pack. I'll send you that as well. But the thing is, with remember when Elon put that out about Trump, everybody went into defense mode. But he fucking put out some wild shit on him or whatever, and people started defending it. And also when Elon did this last time to Nick, he hid his reply. I don't know if y'all knew that or whatever. He got community noted for that shit. But he fucking hid his reply. But I'm questioning. I can't wait to hear some of the the crazy MAGA base what they have to say about that, because they were sure defending Trump against Elon, but now it's like, let's throw down on Fuentes or whatever. Because I mean Elon wouldn't know if he's a Fed though. Probably is. They're all fucking Feds, bro. What are we doing? They're all Feds. All these people.
Well, everybody's lawyers. They're not just feds. It turns out that in life, it's the lawyers that control banks. They control even doctors with lawsuits. So the guy that I'm running against. Not many people here have probably ever run for office, but the whole scam starts with petitions and objections. You go before your state election board, and lawyers literally get out any viable candidate who has any real change in them. And the scam starts there. So I have filed challenges, objections, motions. Nothing gets heard, and it's a total double standard. And to me, it's election fraud and voter fraud. But I would love for Diligent to expose how corrupt elections are and how difficult it is to change congressional seats because of challenges, objections, and these judges and lawyers that control it all. It's a real racket. I'm not O'Keefe, but I took my phone in, I recorded as much as I could, I live streamed the courts, and to me, what I have is evidence of election fraud. I'm just a little nobody in Chicago running for Congress like everybody else, but I'm telling you that the system is so rigged and so cooked from the very inception with petitions and redistricting and numbers of signatures. It is so hard to create change. I don't know what our Constitution is. We live in a society of lawyers. It's sickening, but it is a world of words and letters, and the pen is mightier than the sword, but it's a racket, and life is one huge racket, unfortunately.
It's an ACA patch. I'm sending it to you now.
Unless we remove big money from politics, I don't foresee much change coming. This was confirmed. I'm going to throw it up in the Jumbotron because it's relevant. It's been confirmed. Well, Adam the Angler, a veteran, called, and this was sent to me earlier, but I couldn't confirm it, that who he was talking to on the phone, but he sent me the phone numbers. It's up in the Jumbotron. Adam the Angler, and good job, Adam. Adam the Angler called the sheriff's office in Tim Pool's county, and they could not confirm or had no record of Tim Pool making a police report about a shooting at his house this weekend. They said the last shooting was up in some adjacent town, and it was a murder. So, and it was weeks ago. So,
You want me to get him
Yeah.
in here, Diligent? He's from my neck of the woods.
yeah, it's up in the jumbotron, you guys. But he actually calls them on the. And good job. That's citizen journalism. He actually called them on the video live, and had called the police and the sheriffs, and waited for them to call back. And sure enough, no record of shooting. I'm sure he's gonna say, "Well, we talked to the FBI." I'm sure it's.
He's the one where they came to and knocked on the door or whatever for him making a comment.
Maybe the chickens called, and so that's why they're confused. Maybe it was the chicken coop. That's really where the call came from, and they're just confused as to who and where the call came from. Maybe that's what it is.
It's
Is
just,
this Tim Pool you're talking about, Diligent?
Disavow.
isn't it amazing though that Tim Pool?
Yes, Tim Pool, bro. Okay,
Okay, yeah, he's the guy that was caught taking money, right, from the Russians or something?
I disavow, not according to, let's just say, hypothetically, that did happen. And then somehow, miraculously, he avoided any implication in that. Well, if he starts shilling for the government, is it possible that he could have gotten a deal to push narrative? Right? Like it's, you make it make sense. And then I think it's interesting that right as his numbers are tanking, and they were, right, that he, this so-called shooting happens that is, we've triggered tweet news on X. He's now requesting we're going to bring him up. I've invoked the name of Timmy Pool. I want to hear what he says.
So his name, is it Small? Because is it Small or Pool we're talking about? There's a thing about,
okay, Timmy's, Juicy Smoulier, okay, is this French actor who, an African-American gay French actor, right, who lived in the suburbs of Chicago. And, it was a couple of years ago, and he was going to the store, he was walking to the store in his hometown at like 2 a.m., and in the middle of winter, when it was like 14 degrees, and he got accosted, he was jumped. He was jumped by a couple of white men in MAGA hats, who called him all kinds of names and put a noose on his neck and poured bleach onto him and screamed, "This is MAGA country," and then ran off into the night and disappeared. And so a lot of people didn't buy the narrative from him. They weren't, all of the media, the legacy media, and all of Hollywood. They were all up in arms and outraged and justice for Juicy. The hashtags were all over Twitter and X. And it turned out. If you interrupt me again, I'm gonna have to drop you down because you keep doing that in my rants. Okay. It turned out that. God damn it! I hate when you do that. It turned out that it was a fraud. Two like actual Africans, like Nigerians, were paid to do it. He even went to jail for it because it was for falsely reporting a crime, right? And so when I say Timmy Smollett, right, it is a play on that story, right? That it just happened to be. Right at a convenient political time and career time for Timmy, he has this shooting. And you know what? I wasn't immediately skeptical of it until I read his first post. His first post was like, there was a shooting out at their house, yada, yada, yada. But then there was this little bit of virtue signaling, or not a little bit, there was virtue signaling in the post where it was like, because this happens when you speak out against evil. Right? And that's where I'm like, oh, you're fucking gay, right? Okay. Like, not really gay, but faking gay. You know what I mean? I was like, this is faking gay. And so then I called out the fact that it was faking gay. And, watched it for about an hour today on his podcast, and it's still any more believable. He landed on my chicken coop. You can tell from the reactions of my chickens that there was a gunfire. So he had no evidence or receipts to back up his claim, other than he's hoping somebody was recording the live stream in his chicken coop so they could come forth with the evidence that the chickens all moved at the same time, and that is how we would know there was a gunshot. And that was so after weeks of vilifying Candace Owens as a conspiracy theorist and for spreading misinformation and not bringing receipts, he comes up with this story of being shot at, and turns out he wasn't there, right? He's like, he didn't say that when he first virtue signaled. He didn't say he wasn't there. Like, all of these other fucking extraneous details emerged later over the next few days, which, why would it take that long? You know what I mean? And so we've been clowning him, and I would say rightfully so, and it just keeps getting better. So, Clinton, does that make sense? Does that make sense?
In fact, you piqued my interest, so now I'm gonna step out.
This is all on my timeline. This is all on my timeline.
No,
It's all over the Jumbotron.
No, I want to go listen to the podcast now of him ranting about it.
And it was 2 o'clock in the morning, just like the Smollett case, and he wasn't home. But Intelligent, can you play that clip? Since it's relevant for this space.
Which clip?
This guy, the one that posted about calling the sheriffs.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. Let me get it out. All right. Well, first, we'll listen to Timmy, and then we'll listen to the guy. How about that? I think that's fair. All right. Here we go. All right. Here's Tim.
Incident, we were out, and I got a message just around 1 a.m. And it was vague and nondescript. Just there was an incident. We need to talk with your team, and then we started getting the details trickling in that a car had been lurking or something to that effect, and a shot was fired. We now know that it was 3 shots that were fired. We don't know exactly what or why. And we are desperately trying to rationalize. Maybe it's just random. Just somebody was driving down the road in the middle of nowhere in the country and decided to slowly approach our property and then fire several rounds. Just for no reason. For fun, perhaps. At this time, for security reasons, I got these people screaming. Release the footage. And the concern we have is obvious. To then show everyone where we put our cameras. That's not going to happen. That's the honest truth. That's why I tweeted out, if anybody had been archiving the Chicken City live stream, this is inside of our chicken coop. It doesn't reveal, it's designed specifically not to expose the property, the location, or anything like this. And you would have seen the reaction from the chickens. I know it sounds a little bit silly, but... And so where's it? Riling up their audience, preparing for shows, people who don't like me, for whatever reason, saying that we're lying, making things up, none of this can be true. Charlie Kirk is dead. A couple months ago,
Charlie Kirk is dead.
We have a suspect. We don't know exactly what happened. There are many questions around how it all went down, what makes sense and what doesn't. We're an organization that's rallying young.
Yeah, so that's Tim telling you that the chicken coop, he's looking for footage of his chicken coop right now. All this is up in the Jumbotron again. Let me do the video of the guy now, making the call to find out.
Hello? Yeah, this is Adam. Are you calling from? I'm sorry. Oh, hi. Oh, wait, you're with the Harvest Ferry Police, not the Sheriff's Office? Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, maybe you can answer my question. Did the dispatcher relay what I was asking about? Yeah, it's asking about, I guess, that somebody's house was shot up or something. So, who's a large influencer. He put out a post on X on December 6th, the morning of, around 8 a.m., saying that there was an alleged shooting that took place at his property, and it was just really weird. And a lot of half the audience thinks he's just trying to create some kind of a hoax to regain some attention. So I just wanted to call and just verify that if this even happened or not. This alleged, has he actually contacted you guys or not? I'm just trying to basically see if what he's saying has some kind of evidence or something backing it up, or that he just verify that he contacted you guys.
The only issue I have is if you don't know the exact address, I can't tell you exactly if it has or hasn't happened, because the only thing I can do is look in the town of Rockford, which is very, very small.
Yeah.
And I looked back through our call logs, we had no active shootings or anything. The town of Rockford, but Rockford is huge.
Okay.
So you're only going to get the incorporated part of Harvest Ferry talking to me. The sheriff's office covers all of the rest of Harvest Ferry.
Yeah.
So depending on where he lives, I can't give you a yes or no without knowing exactly where he lives. But I can tell you, if he lived in the corporation of Harvest Ferry, we have not had any shootings.
Yeah, and I'm not sure exactly what his address is. I have a feeling it's not going to be easy to find. I know he was doxxed before, but I have a feeling it could have been scrubbed. I'll try to see if I can find it, the address. Can you tell me, have you even had any alleged shootings on the early morning of December 6th?
We have not in the town of Harvest Ferry, but I can't speak for the sheriff's department. You have to talk to them.
Okay. Hello? Yeah, hi. So my name is Adam. I go by Adam the Angler online. I run a very small content creator, accounts on X and YouTube and whatnot. Tim Pool had put out a post on X on December 6th around 8 a.m. saying that there was a shooting that took place at his compound, I guess, his residence / business. I have a possible address that it's not 100%, but I just wanted to call and just verify that he has contacted you guys, like he said, because something about this just doesn't add up to me. So yeah, I just wanted to see if he's being honest or not, basically.
The only shooting I'm aware of is the murder we had up on the mountain last month. I'm not aware of any of the shootings.
Okay, yeah, no one would have been hurt necessarily. He said in his post that it happened around 1 a.m. on the 6th of December, saying that someone approached his property and allegedly fired 3 shots. But then he said that, what's that?
What's his name?
Tim Pool. He's a fairly large content creator. He covers a lot of geopolitics and whatnot. And so I believe he lives within your jurisdiction, as far as I can tell. So I just
There are no calls to you.
I'm sorry, would you say that again? You said a report was taken? Okay. I appreciate that. We'll see if he produces something more on this alleged shooting. Because he's literally put nothing out other than saying there was a shooting and that he was in contact with police. And I've called you guys, you haven't heard of anything, and I even just talked to an officer with the Harvest Ferry PD and the incorporated city part or town part, and they said they didn't have one either. So I'm starting to lean towards this might be a hoax, but I'll try to keep an eye on it and see if he posts anything new. But anyways, thank you so much for your help. I really appreciate it. All right, thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
that's crazy to hear. That's like wow. Surely there's an explanation, right? I couldn't see. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe he called like the chicken police.
Well, it sounded like, if I had to guess, right? If I had to guess, I bet you his security did call him and say, "We think that somebody shot at the property," right? And he might have trail cams or some kind of surveillance outside the property. It may have not have been conclusive, and they ran with it anyways. So if I had to guess, and I think I'm being generous. Hold on. I know you're triggered. It's okay. If I had to guess, and I feel like I'm being generous there. It was just the whole, this is what happens when you speak on evil. Like that whole thing, dude, is where I was like, oh shit, this has got some really fake vibes to it. So, but I mean, it's just, listen, I feel like that the media is losing, the new media is losing credibility, and I saw Benny Johnson do it too, right? It's this whole victimhood, it's virtue signaling. It's fucking virtue signaling. Benny Johnson's guy, the one that threatened him or whatever, that was months and months ago. He hasn't said shit about it, okay, until that Milo story happened the night before at Tim Pool's, right? Just what I want you to think about
Gary,
this.
restart this live.
Milo says that Benny Johnson is gay on Tim Pool's podcast, and the next fucking night, Benny Johnson brings up the fact that somebody went to his house, doxed him, and threatened him. And, okay, the same fucking morning, Tim Pool says that his house was shot at and that somebody was threatening him. Both of them said at the same time. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it seems like any times that some kind of loss of credibility is occurring, it's like, oh, I'm a victim though. I'm such a victim. And I'm just saying, like, I can't help but notice that every time that the new media comes under scrutiny, some kind of false flag or potentially false flag or something that had happened a long time ago resurfaces to try to deflect from the fact that they are getting a lot of heat for what they're doing or what they're not doing. I'm just throwing that out there. Go ahead, and I know, go ahead, Tweet News.
Yeah, thanks, Legend. I'm currently I can see glimpses in the room. Obviously, that used to work with Tim Cass, so I'm interested to get his thoughts. But I will say two things. First of all, the post that Tim Pool put out on the 7th of December saying what happened. Now, if you look at the bottom of the post, he's put his location where you can add your location to a post. Tim has never done that before, ever. Now, Tim obviously works very hard to keep his privacy because he's prominent, he's where he lives. I saw that and went, well, why is he posting and adding his location, which the gentleman in the audio that was calling the sheriff's department is completely a different location to where he's tagged his posting. Now, if you go look at any of the posts, he's never put his location on there. Just going to throw that out there. And the other thing as well, and I'll be very cautious how I say this, the Benny Johnson thing, Matt Walsh and Cat Turd, who had the person threatening them, apparently the guy's been arrested. Benny Johnson shouted out an account who has ruffled your feathers before in the past, because he was responsible for helping capture and identify the individual, and so on and so forth. So Benny Johnson thanked one of the more chaotic accounts on the Conservative side of things, saying thank you very much for helping with the situation. But that's all the two things, because I know it's probably got.
I mean, the location thing, I feel like is it has nothing to fucking do with anything.
That doesn't mean the same. Yeah, it probably doesn't. but I've just added it in there to my previous points on the space going, maybe there's a little chicanery going on here because he's never added his location to a post, only that post. But please tell me I'm right or wrong, I don't know, because Clinton knows more than I do, I guess.
I know the dude. I mean, this is what he does. The dude that called. He's the one that got the.
He's talking about Tim, Cody. He's not talking about the guy here.
Yeah, I was talking about it.
Go ahead, Clay.
Yeah, I don't want to rain on the conspiracy parade here because I know it's fun, but and personally, I don't know Benny Johnson, and I get bad vibes from him. So as far as him dropping that report, right after Milo nukes him from orbit, yeah, I could definitely make an argument that he was doing that for PR cover. He doesn't address Milo's claims, and he just puts himself in victim status. I do know Tim really well. I personally have, I've been to the property a dozen times probably, done the show at least that many times, and it's like I just don't. I personally, well, first off, security issues are very sincere. He's got a bunch of armed security guards, so like that's real. As far as whether or not the shooting happened, my guess would be that the property isn't owned in his name just for security purposes. So, and I doubt he would have called it in because he said that he wasn't home, so it would have been a security guard that called it in. So when people are saying, is there any reports from the pool? It's like, well, no, there wouldn't have been. So I don't think that's...
But the question was if was there any gunfire reports at all?
Exactly, on that day.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, sure. And that is weird, but I only heard a portion of that. Was that...
It's the last post I put up. It's up in the Jumbotron as well. But he asked.
Tell me what that...
Well, I mean, he called the township, right? Which is the incorporated, so that's the town. And they said no. And then he called the sheriff, and he said the sheriff, the last call of a gunfire that they had was weeks ago, in general, not just specifically for Tim Pool, was weeks ago, and it was for a murder that occurred in a town, in an adjacent town.
What was the town?
I would have to go back and listen to the clip again. But it was just like it's a county sheriff, so like their jurisdiction is the entire county. That's not in an incorporated town, right?
No, I understand that. The reason I'm asking is because Tim's properties are very rural, and if the person, I don't know, I don't even know what the county is that I'm at when I do Tim's show. So, but my guess is, there's a chance that he didn't even have the right, district or county or whatever.
If I had to guess, like I said, I would say that there probably was either like somebody fucking around, maybe fireworks, or maybe they shot a gun out there, right? But Tim wasn't there. Like when he made his post in the let me just, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just when he made his post. I'm trying to pull it up here because I'm hosting from this phone. Here we go. All right, so when he made his post the other morning after the Milo thing, right? He says, last night a vehicle, this is 8 million views, okay? Last night a vehicle approached our property and opened fire. No one was hurt. Our security team is reviewing the incident and will be relaying the report to appropriate law enforcement. This is the price we pay for speaking out against evil. No inclination that he wasn't there. No inclination that it wasn't like there's no evidence, right? Nothing like that. No distinction in there at all. And so it's a super virtue signaling post. And then his next post is, my immediate thoughts is someone was trying to scare us. So now he's trying to say, he's like trying to lessen the severity of it. But we have a security gate, armed guards, possible this deterred something more serious. So now he's acting like it wasn't a threat. You know what I mean? Do you see what I'm saying here? Like there's no, and it just happens to be the next morning after Milo's bombshell on his show, and also while he's been saying all week, actually said during that show that his numbers are down as a result from him criticizing Candace Owens. So it's just convenient, right? So maybe something did happen out there and he just embellished it or exaggerated a little bit and it was convenient to suit his needs. But I just, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, I would caution people about assuming that the guy who called had the right county, you know, because like I said, Tim lives very rurally, so it could.
It's different. It's different Clint to one that's he's tagged his location on. So if you go to the next posting, yeah, if you go to the next post diligent, the one that he says that they were in contact with the FBI, the police, and the Chicken City post, you will see his location, which is different from the one that the gentleman sent the video to the sheriff's office.
Is the location in the same county?
I don't think it is. I'm looking it up now. I don't think it is, but
I can answer all this for everyone. If you guys would like to know. So first of all, I didn't know he lived in Harper's Ferry, but that's literally like a rock star from where I live. So I was really, as soon as that's the first time I've heard the recording of the guy calling the police and the sheriff.
I want to avoid, like even though it's public, I don't want to call it out in my space, because I don't want to drive much crazy to where he lives, so we can just be general, if you could.
Yeah, I'll just say about the call, because I don't know where he's lived. I'm just going off of that people say Harper's Ferry, but I know Harper's Ferry very well.
You're not cute. I don't think you're picking up what I'm saying. Can you just say I live near him? Like, you get what I'm saying? Quit saying it.
Yeah,
I want
okay.
crazies to go to his house.
Well, what I was going to say is for Harper's Ferry itself, not his house.
Okay.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
What the fuck is going on here?
I'm just reading.
Clay, am I being okay?
For that
area
near mine.
Thank you.
There is sorry, I wasn't understanding it. It was interesting. As soon as I heard it on the recording, there was a man killed on the mountain. The sheriff's office responded because of the shots fired. So I just want to say that's legitimate. As far as that county of the call itself, it's a very unique county because of it's like one of those areas here in whether you live in Virginia or Maryland.
So can you look at the post that tweet that news on X is referring to on Tim's timeline that has the location?
Just confirm if it's in the same county.
Confirm if that town is in the same county without reading it out loud.
Yeah, I'll try to look real quick. What I was gonna say though.
It is the second post about the shooting, I believe. Is that correct? News?
Yeah, Clint's just confirmed that, right, Clint?
Well, I'm sorry, confirm what?
Can you confirm anything about the location?
Did you confirm that he was in the same county? The one on his post? Sorry, I'm on time.
No, I haven't even looked at the post. That's just my guess as to why the guy called and didn't get any sort of report.
So, Catherine, it's the first or the second post that he made about the shooting where he's describing the event. If you click on it, if you open it, it'll.
Okay, I'm opening it.
And then it shows posts tweeted from this location, and then you should be able to know if that town is in your county.
I don't see that.
I just looked, bro. Thanks, brother. Oh my God, my DM's just doing it.
Can someone message it to me?
Yeah.
What I was gonna say in relation to what that other gentleman was saying that's been out there to his property, it's unique because it's up against a different state, and so where the city is, the city actually it crosses over to a different state. So if you live in that state, the only county that's in that little nook of that state is that specific county. And if you live further away from that area, in the more rural areas, it does become a different county, but it's way further out because of that uniqueness of it in a different state. So if he says he lives in X state, and that's the city that he lives in or the area, because, I'm in a very similar situation where I live in the town that I live in my county are the same, but I don't live in the city. So there's not another
I'm just DM'd you, Catherine, and if you look at that post, I just DM'd you. But again, I'm not trying to get to the point of where he is. My point being is Tim has been very careful over the years to state it.
Look, he's saying he's not showing anymore.
Okay.
Is it for?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, I
looking
don't
at it now.
see it. Yeah. The point I was trying
I
to
remember. Oh, there it is. I see it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I got it. Yep. It is the second post about that issue that I was talking about.
Can
Or
we
the
see
third.
the letter
I'm
of the
saying it's
county?
the third. It's the third. I got you. I'm gonna DM you right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I've DM'd you Catherine already, but again, just to say, I'm not trying to put him on a docs route. I'm trying to say he's never added the location to a post before, and he's been spoken about it multiple times about saying we're very careful about protecting where we are, specifically because of things that have happened in the past. So why would you add your location? I think that's a valid point, right?
Yeah, I can't answer that. That's very unusual. I'll grant you that, and I don't know why he would have done it. So I don't have an answer for that.
Could he be on a massive troll, Clint? This is kind of what I'm leading to. Is this a massive troll? Given the podcast with Milo and George Santos the other day, have you heard that?
I don't think that was reputationally damaging to Tim. So I mean,
Why did he need to call Benny Johnson? Why did he need to call Benny Johnson and apologize?
Well, because he didn't basically challenge Milo on what he had to say, and he's friends with Benny.
Okay, I will say that I am pretty sure that is a different county. I didn't see who the county said it was at the beginning of the
Can
fall.
you look that up and find out?
Let me see.
That's what I'm saying. And let me just say, we're going to find out one way or the other, or you guys are going to find out. I'm not so much interested in this. I just wanted to say, or chime in because, I've known Tim for years now. I've never known him to be, a fraudster in that way. So I'd be shocked personally. So that's just my concern.
Clint, I personally don't have anything against him. I am just trolling him a little bit because he's been so hard on not just Candace, but anybody who has been.
He's been hard on my whole camp, dude. I get it. I strongly disagree with him.
Yeah, and so to make an unsupported claim like that with convenient timing, you deserve a little bit of trolling.
I get it. I totally understand the spirit behind it. I'm just saying, I personally don't think that he made something like that.
I don't want him to. I would never wish that he actually deal with anybody like taking shots at his property or anything. Like I don't condone any of that shit. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't mock it just based on that. I'm just saying, a little. Even he could have just posted. Here's the thing. Even if I didn't want to give away the camera shot and you were out and somebody from your team texted you and said, hey, somebody just took shots at the property, yada, 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 I would have posted a redacted screenshot, anything, especially if you had me out here trolling you and it was going viral, I would have posted something. He didn't. So I was like, dude, you're giving Candace a hard time. You're giving anybody who is questioning this narrative, this bullshit fucking Fed narrative, you're giving them a hard time, so I wouldn't expect anything different.
That's exactly why I wanted to hop up in here because it's like I'm in most of y'all's camp when it comes to the Charlie Kirk case, and I've been studying it pretty much as anybody, and I totally disagree with Tim on that, and I'm basically Team Candace on that topic. So, but that doesn't mean that Tim is a bad person.
No, and it doesn't.
I think he's wrong.
It doesn't mean he's bad, but why is he wrong, right? Here's the question. That begs the question. I outed Poso for blatantly lying about.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you see that? Okay, so why is that happening? Why are the new media? Well, it's not just a different one. It's all of them. They are all telling you to accept the Fed slop narrative, and they are not only doing that, they're disparaging anyone who's not swallowing the Fed slop narrative. Why are they all doing it?
Let me give you my opinion, because I don't know Pasovic and I don't know Benny Johnson, but I know Tim well. My read of Pasovic is different from Tim. Like I think Tim Tim has been honest enough to at least acknowledge that, like, yeah, the security failed. He doesn't understand why the rooftop wouldn't have been covered. He wouldn't understand why they would rely on local PD when you hire private security. What the fuck are you doing? Like, so Tim has been more critical of this narrative, and in fact, in the first month after the attack, he was significantly more open about it. And then he shifted really dramatically when Candace went after TPUSA hard. And I think my personal read of Tim's shift on this is that he's genuinely nervous about the Democrats getting back in power and starting to imprison, like they did Steve Bannon and shit. Like, that's what he's been saying over and over again. And I think that's a genuine concern of his. As for Kosovic, he's Navy intelligence. I just don't trust the guy, if I'm being totally honest. And then Benny Johnson, I don't know for shit, but I've never been a fan, so that's my read, and I think there are different motivations for people.
Even fucking Fuentes is pushing this narrative. Hold on, Kevin. I want to get your take on that, because even Fuentes, right? We have the text messages about Israel in the days leading up to Charlie.
I know everything about it. I know.
And so why is Fuentes, out of all fucking people, being like, no, you're gonna suck this narrative from the Fed, and if you don't, then you're a conspiracy theorist, you're a retard, and you should shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like,
I get it. All right. Well, as I said, I have a very nuanced view on all of these people. I don't know Nick, but I do know Dave Smith really well, and I won't go into details as to our private conversations, but like my read on a lot of the skepticism when it comes to the Israel angle, especially for people that are critical of Israel and very high profile, which I am fortunately not.
I think you're misunderstanding my point, though.
No, I'm not.
Hold on. Well, because it's not the Israel. Like, it's like a missed opportunity for him, I think. But that's why I brought it up. But it's the acceptance of the Fed.
I understand, but let me finish the point. You'll see exactly what I'm saying. So my read is that it's a very scary thing for someone like Nick Fuentes, given his prominence and his extremely, fiery rhetoric against Israel, to go along with the narrative that Israel took out Charlie Kirk because he was flipping on him. Like, that's a reality that I don't think Nick Fuentes wants to accept. So you can go down the path of him being like, all right, he's a Fed, he's controlled op, whatever, or it could just be that he's like mentally blocking it because he's scared, because it's a scary fucking thing. And I think that that's a distinct possibility. Is that because like when you hear him talking about it, he doesn't know fucking anything about it. It's like he has completely turned a blind eye to the entire assassination. Like he doesn't know anything about it. If he were to sit down with me or Ian Carroll or you or anybody, he would get trounced because he doesn't know fucking anything about it. So I think it's just coming from a place of ignorance, and also he's got tremendous vitriol between he and Candace, and I think that he's just like, because he was saying, like, I saw it tonight when that viral clip of Tim going ballistic happened, Nick responded, Tim W, like Tim Pool with a win, and I'm like, oh yeah, you don't actually care about this at all, it's just like, you despise Candace. So
he said multiple times, you're absolutely spot on. Fuentes has said recently, he says, sometimes when he's researching and looking into stuff, he literally said, this shit scares me when I go and look into this stuff. And it scares him because some of the things that he's researching and he discusses for this show, he doesn't want it to be true, effectively. I'm saying that paraphrasing. But he has said, when he looks into this stuff, this shit scares him. He said it about when he was looking into J.D. Vance. He goes back, thank you. He said it when he was looking into Tucker. And obviously he's basically blown Tucker off there. He's basically, he can't stand it.
Well, okay, but that's fine. But it's just weird that it's happening with all of them all at once for whatever various reason, right? Here's the common denominators. There's no desire of there's no curiosity. There's no skepticism. There's no challenge. Like all of the things that a lot of these people are known for is just gone. For some reason, it's just gone. And not only is there no desire to explore, there's no curiosity, there's no challenge. The challenge actually goes to those who aren't buying into it, right? And that's the consistent thing. It doesn't matter if it's Fuentes or Poso or Benny Johnson or even Tim Pool, at least for the last few weeks. I don't know, man. It's just fucking weird, right? It is just weird.
No disagreement with that, man. I did a full episode basically dedicated to this topic just a few days ago, and Tim in particular. And I'm bothered by it. I really don't like the lack of curiosity when it comes to this case. And here's the other thing that I try and always remind myself: they actually knew Charlie well, and I think that for them, it's a much scarier thing. It's a much more personal thing. I had met Charlie, but I wasn't friends with him by any stretch. And it's so for me, all I care about is the macro. I want there to be justice. I don't want to live in a country where political assassinations, particularly political commentators, happens and the guilty get away with it. So that's my entire focus. I think for these guys, a lot of it's self-preservation. They're scared to death. That's my honest opinion. But then there's also the angle of some of these dudes are genuinely controlled opposition. Like I said about Pasova, that's my vibe on that guy.
100%.
So I think that yes, they're all
glaring with him, right? It's fucking glaring with him.
Yeah, but I say that after him spreading a lot of obvious misinformation, egregious misinformation. Tim hasn't done that. Tim approaches this, in my opinion, from a place of ignorance, and I say that respectfully. He just genuinely does not know the valid things that Candace has brought forward, or that I have, or anybody else that's been studying this case. And there's a lot of really valid shit that people ought to be parsing out and thinking about.
I agree with that, but I think that's whenever you step in and you say, I am ignorant to this, instead of giving an opinion, you say, I don't know, I haven't looked at it, and then that is authentic. Pushing the federal narrative whenever you have not looked into it and you're pushing that agenda anyway is very inauthentic and is why they are losing their viewership. We would respect them so much more if they were like, I haven't had the time to study it, that's not my niche, I'm working on something else.
Well, and I think it's even worse than that because, yeah, it's not their niche, but who gives a fuck? This is their friend, this is their colleague, this is super important. And it's important that they know what's going on with this, regardless of whether or not they want to come out and dedicate their show to it like Candace has, or dedicate their lives to researching it like most of us have. It's okay, fine, but then don't get mad at the people who are. Thank them for actually digging and trying to make sure that your friend and colleague gets justice, including his family and his children. So that's my grievance against Tim, despite him being one of my friends, is that I think that he is really misguided in this. And that's what the whole point of my episode was, is all right, you don't have to be doing what I'm doing, but please shut up. Please let us work.
How frequent is it that they're all misguided in the same point? And you know what I mean? It's just, there's too much alignment between various folks that fit into a certain box within, and I'm not trying to, as I was covering Trump last year in the election, these guys were all very close to the campaign. Poso, Tim Pool, okay? I was at a couple of events where they spoke. I met them both, right? They spoke at the same events. They were keynote speakers. And so it's just strange. You know what I mean? I feel like this is a close to the administration thing. All of these fuckers are close to the administration. Benny Johnson, extremely close to the administration. Crowder, right? Tim Pool, Jack Posobiec. Even in Crowder, okay, you have Nick Fuentes going on a show the other day. Do you see what I'm saying here? There's a club feel to this. And that's...
I agree.
Let her respond.
Yeah, well, I've always felt like some of these guys, as I said earlier, some of them are legitimately script reading propagandists for the regime. That's what some of them are. I don't think that Tim is that. I think that Tim is, because he wants to have proximity to power. He wants to have one of his in the White House briefing room.
Access.
Yeah, he wants access, so he plays nice. And I'm full on burn everything to the ground radical, and he and I are different in that way. So that's
Candace just retweeted your post, Clint.
What?
Candace just retweeted you.
Which folks?
And she said, I cannot explain it, but I sense that this isn't actually about me, and that Tim Pool is under tremendous financial pressure. Men have a certain way when they are under economic pressure, and I feel like he's just lashing out, and I happen to be here. So she kind of gave him some grace there.
Yeah, well, and let me add to that, because I think she's right, but not for a highly conspiratorial reason. The whole new way, and if anybody wants to get the full, elaborate explanation of my feelings on this, my episode last week about Tim really does so.
Can you throw in the Jumbotron clip?
I don't even know how, dude.
I'll do it.
I appreciate that.
Did you hear that Tim Pool called Candace the C word on the show tonight?
There is a rant there. I'm going to listen to it. I want him to comment on what Nazi was just saying about Candace, though. Go ahead, continue, Clint. Sorry.
Yeah. So, and this is just to shorten my point from that episode. I think that if you look at who's ascended over the past 2 years, since the war in Gaza began, it's like Tucker Carlson, Dave Smith, Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens. It's